Let's get cracking.
Hello and welcome back to Giant Freakin' Robot. Today we're taking a look at the most underrated Star Wars knockoff movie of the 70s and how it resulted in the seemingly unrelated 90s horror film, Event Horizon. The success of Star Wars in 1977 sent shockwaves through the movie industry. Suddenly, every movie studio needed their own Star Wars and they were willing to do anything to get it. Anything except have an original idea, that is. The success of Star Wars spawned a rush of copycats, and nearly all of them were terrible. But at least one of them, though it failed at the box office, was great. That one was The Black Hole. Released in 1979, The Black Hole not only ended up being Disney's first PG-rated movie, the film was also the most expensive movie they'd ever made at the time.
A journey that begins where everything ends.
Disney wasn't messing around when it funded The Black Hole, putting a whopping $20 million toward production and another $6 million toward advertising. Those numbers may not seem huge now, but they were huge back then. Gary Nelson directed the movie from a screenplay by Jerry Day and Jeb Rosebrook. The music for the film was composed by John Barry, who is best known for his work on the James Bond franchise. Barry's bombastic score for The Black Hole immediately drew Star Wars comparisons, presumably by design. Disney wanted those Star Wars fans buying tickets for its film. Thankfully, they decided to avoid a straight ripoff by not including a text scroll alongside the score. Unfortunately for Disney, and maybe sci-fi fans as well, The Black Hole failed. Though it did nab 2 Academy Award nominations for Best Cinematography and Best Visual Effects,
Harrison Ellenshaw and Joe Hale for The Black Hole. The winners are H.R. Geiger, Carlo Rambaldi, Ryan Johnson, Nick Alder, and Dennis Eiling for The Alien.
It drew mixed reviews from audiences and critics and grossed only $35 million at the 1979 box office.
A cross between a bathtub drain and a blue donut.
For comparison purposes, the first Star Wars cost only $11 million to make and earned $775 million worldwide in 1977.
As a result, the price of 20th Century Fox stock has doubled in the last 2 weeks.
The Black Hole may not have been the Star Wars-like success that Disney was hoping for, but it's better than its historical representation suggests. While Disney was clearly trying to target Star Wars fans by mimicking the score and doing things like filling the black hole with cute robots, most of that is just window dressing. The Black Hole script is anything but a Star Wars knockoff, and that's what sets it apart from all the other failed attempts at Star Wars cash-ins. The script itself is more clearly inspired by Disney's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea than it is in any way similar to Star Wars. And the film has a great cast. At least on paper. In practice, they don't entirely seem to know what movie they're in. A roster that includes Anthony Perkins, Robert Forster, and Ernest Borgnine, as well as Yvette Mimieux and Joseph Bottoms, should be fantastic, but everyone's delivery is flat.
The crew is a bunch of mopes.
Sci-fi movies of this budget and magnitude were a new idea back then. It's entirely possible they simply didn't understand the script. Except for Maximilian Schell. He gets it, and he's brilliant.
Welcome aboard the Cygnus.
Schell plays Dr. Hans Reinhardt, the captain of the USS Cygnus, a scientific vessel thought lost for 20 years. A brilliant scientist, he's unnerving and maniacal and chews every line in a perfect campy villain way.
What would you have said, Mr. Booth, if the authorities would have called back Columbus just before he discovered the New World?
And the movie he's doing it in looks incredible. Some of the special effects don't hold up, but the intention behind the art design is still there and impressive. There's never been anything with the grandiose design of the Black Hole. The miniature work is top-notch, and Disney pioneered techniques to composite live-action shots with matte paintings and computer work. Cinematographer Frank Phillips shoots sets with a flair of grandeur, one enhanced by an occasionally Victorian set design. Though the wardrobes are questionable. The general style is best described as space sweatsuit chic. The robot design is cool and eerie. Yes, Vincent and Bob look silly and like floating kegs, but Reinhardt's various humanoid automatons skew toward the creepier side. They went in an entirely different direction from Star Wars with their droids, and outside of Vincent and Bob it pays off. The evil robot Maximilian, Reinhardt's right hand, is easily the best of the bunch. even without features to move or ways to emote. He exudes an air of menace and dread and is basically the devil. He's uncanny and sinister and one of the enduring images from the film. Unfortunately, the black hole never fully embraces its own strangeness, instead opting to play it safe. Likely the influence of the still very G-rated Disney, which was funding it. But even Disney can't hold the movie back at the end, when it goes fully bug nuts crazy in a way that, while it isn't entirely earned, is certainly a lot of fun. The last we see of the movie's villains Maximilian and Reinhardt, they've merged into one being and are left standing atop a mountain, arms raised above an ocean of raging flames and hordes of black robed creatures that look like the robots from the Cygnus. They've gone straight to hell. The black hole is thought of as a Star Wars ripoff, but in the end it becomes the template for the space horror movie Event Horizon. Complete with insane production design and villain turned actual demon. Event Horizon and the black hole parallel in deep and important ways. Both movies revolve around a crew encountering a vessel thought long lost. Both movies feature production designs inspired by outdated historical aesthetics. Event Horizon has a moody, Gothic aura. The ships in it resemble Baroque castles. Early on, the black hole takes on a similar aesthetic. The ship design color palettes create a near-medieval sensation, especially when the crew of the Palomino first encounters the Cygnus, unlit and appearing dead in space. Both invoke Dante. Things are not as they initially appear. Paranoia and betrayal run wild, and in the end, they wind up in hell. The black hole has a 40% rotten score amongst critics and a 45% rotten score amongst viewers.
This is crummy as far as new science fiction is concerned.
Absolutely. In fact, when we get in the black hole, it's frankly a lot like 2001.
Maybe it's deserved. The black hole swung big and it missed a few pitches. But somewhere out there, lost in space in a massive floating Victorian hellscape, is something deeply original and brilliant. Disney set out to make a Star Wars knockoff, and what they got was something obtuse, strange, and deeply unnerving. Maybe it's not a masterpiece, but there's storytelling magic hidden inside the empty halls of the USS Cygnus. It makes sense, then, that Disney might be toying with doing a black hole remake. A black hole remake done outside the market pressure to make it into Star Wars could be brilliant. Until next time, stay out of creepy-looking starships floating dead in space. If it looks like the Devil's Chariot, then it probably is. This has been Giant Freakin' Robot.
Now that was thoroughly dull. At least I think so.